The White House calls it armed conflict. Not with Russia, not with China, but with cartels. Trump has authorized lethal force at sea, declaring traffickers a terrorist enemy of America. Strikes already launched, Congress blindsided, and Venezuela warns it will fight back. This is a new war, but not the one you expected. A notification to Capitol Hill that seeks to give legal cover for taking lethal action against traffickers reveals US President Donald Trump has determined the country is in armed conflict with drug cartels who are distributing narcotics. The notification, reviewed by lawmakers this week, seeks to provide legal grounds for lethal strikes against alleged traffickers at sea, including Venezuelan vessels hit in recent weeks. According to the sensitive notice transmitted to Senate leadership and congressional committees this week, and reviewed by the Washington Post, Trump directed the Pentagon to conduct operations pursuant to the law of armed conflict after he determined that the United States is in a non-international armed conflict with these designated terrorist organizations that have helped kill US citizens through drug trafficking.
The United States has now reached a critical point where we must use force in self-defense and defense of others against the ongoing attacks by these designated terrorist organizations.
Notice reviewed by US Senate. Source: The Washington Post, October 2, 2025. The Trump administration has described recent strikes against alleged traffickers at sea as targeting Venezuelan gangs, though the notice to Congress did not name any specific organizations. The move has triggered sharp criticism on Capitol Hill. Senator Jack Reed, the ranking Democrat on armed services, said the White House had bypassed Congress and offered no credible justification or evidence. Legal scholars also questioned the rationale. Jeffrey Korn of Texas Tech University argued that the determination stretched the meaning of armed conflict to cover civilian criminals, while John Bellinger, a former State Department legal advisor, called the analogy inapt compared with al-Qaeda or Islamic State. The Trump administration says the United States has carried out at least 3 maritime strikes since early September, killing more than a dozen people. The Pentagon insists the operations are consistent with the laws of war and tied to national defense. Meanwhile, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro stated recently that Caracas has the backing of regional military allies in response to US forces deployed near its coast, and recent strikes on vessels the Trump administration linked to Venezuelan drug trafficking.
Don't tell anyone. Let this stay between us. Messages are arriving from military ranks from borders close to our South America. Messages of admiration from uniformed and armed soldiers from our America, from our South America, telling us, if they touch Venezuela, they touch us, and we will have to once again unite into a single united liberator army of South America to confront any imperialist aggression. It will happen. Those who understand will hear the warning. Last week was the 80th session, the 80 years of the creation of the United Nations. And thanks to that clear, persevering vision, to our brilliant diplomacy of peace, we had an absolute success with overwhelming support from all regions and from the vast majority of countries for our nation's right to sovereignty and peace.
Venezuela's Defense Minister General Vladimir Padrino said on October 2 that the country's air defense system had detected more than 5 US combat aircraft flying near its northern coast, calling the activity a provocation and a threat to national security. General Vladimir Padrino made the remarks in Caracas during a military briefing, noting that the detections were also reported by a civilian airline control tower.
The presence of these aircraft flying near our area of influence, nearby the Caribbean Sea and off the Venezuelan coast, is a vulgarity and a threat to national security. It is a serious threat. So I denounce before the world the military harassment and the military threat from the US government against the people of Venezuela who only want peace, work, and happiness. I report to the world this situation, which is not only a provocation but also a threat to our national security.
General Vladimir Padrino, Defense Minister of Venezuela. Padrino's comments follow Washington's deployment of warships in the Caribbean, which US officials say is aimed at combating narcotics trafficking. Padrino accused the United States of exerting pressure through military force, while emphasizing that Venezuela is prepared for any potential aggression.
Force is being imposed on us: coercion, threat, extortion through force, through military threat. And for this reason, we have been preparing the people, we have been preparing the state, we have been preparing the institutions, we have been preparing the Bolivarian National Armed Forces. And that is why our commander-in-chief has called for the enlistment of the militiamen. More than 8 million militiamen have registered in the militia.
In response to this latest maneuver, the defense minister, one of Maduro's closest allies, announced that Venezuela will activate a national mobilization in the event of being attacked by the United States. Just days ago, the Venezuelan government approved a measure expanding the president's powers through a decree of external commotion, which authorizes authorities to take military control of public services and strategic institutions, as well as enabling the closure of borders. Meanwhile, Venezuela said its military is dismantling guerrilla camps along the Colombian border that were stocked with cocaine, firearms, and detonators. A Venezuelan armed forces commander said armed members of the FARC and ELN had been using the dense jungle in the Catatumbo region to evade detection. He showed footage of Venezuelan troops destroying camps with explosives. Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino also said authorities confirmed the presence of both groups near the bauxite-rich Pijiguaos area in Bolívar state, in southern Venezuela. His remarks are a rare acknowledgement by a Maduro official that such groups are operating inside Venezuelan territory.